Right now, Maine has huge kelp beds that are highly productive, and some people would say, why grow it? There's enough kelp here to last forever. I know in my lifetime I've seen so many fisheries go feast, famine, boom, and bust that I can't begin to count them. This is probably one of the first times somebody has preemptively gone into aquaculture before the resource has taken a pounding.
So what we have here, we have these two parallel lines. These are long lines, about 1,500 feet long. They're set up so that they're 7 feet exactly below the surface of the water, and each one, once it's seeded out, will have between 60 and 90,000 kelp plants. It's a very efficient way to grow kelp.
When we're growing it, we actually harvest it, and what we work with is we want the clear kelp. You can see we have large sections of the really flat, clear kelp. You know, that'll make it's a beautiful vegetable. So not only do we have the laboratory aspect of it, where we're working on developing really solid, good seed strains that will be, grow well here. What we envision is small sites like this spread up and down the coast in a way that it takes advantage of the local dissolved nutrients without needing to add nutrients.
So our farm is kind of a four-step process. We buy seed from a hatchery when it's about 1 to 2 millimeters in size, and we grow it in upwellers that are at the dock at the marina, and then bring the seed down here to the nursery, where it gets put out in small mesh bags at a certain density. That after it grows for a while, we take them out of those bags, run them through the grading machine, and put them back at a different density in a larger mesh bag. We grow the oysters in the bags until they're about the size of a silver dollar, and then bottom plant them on 10 acres of lease that's over here to the east. Depending on the beds we're harvesting and the density and so forth, we can harvest in a day somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 oysters. And we sell them directly to a couple of dozen restaurants in Maine. In the summertime, that adds up to be a lot of oysters. We sell to a couple of fish markets that do some wholesale business. But I like the idea of selling the oysters close to home. We don't ship them to California. Between the wholesalers in Portland and southern Maine and the retail customers we have in the markets, we sell almost 2/3 of our oysters in state. And then the rest go to Boston and New York, which isn't all that far.
This is an enhanced natural process that needs a vessel, that's all. It's a simple idea, but of course the devil's in the detail. There's a lot of experience needed, but he's been doing it all his life. So there's a big pump and they add water in, and there are gates in the side of the hold, and we broadcast it, and he'll just move around over the lease. And that's where the skill of the farmer comes in, because you have to do that taking into account the tide, and you've got to get them evenly. We're trying to grow strategically, not get too big too soon, and my biggest problem is I don't have enough to supply the demand. So the sales isn't the issue, it's making sure that you have a sustainable supply of good quality. That's the trick. So we put a lot of work into community outreach. In fact, I'm part of the a Frenchman Bay partnership, which we're trying to develop a management plan for this area anyway. And that's where it's a lot of education, where people think it's either conservation or industry, and it's not. Anybody who wants to work within a marine environment, it's in our best interest to maintain the ecology as well.
We started about 3 years ago, just trying a couple cages of cod. Seem to be rolling now from 2 cages to 10 cages, from 40,000 fish to 400,000 fish, and are finally producing enough to supply a small piece of the live market. Predominantly, most of our main market is 2-pound fish live. They like to be fed every other day, but it's a different ratio. Most of the time they'll eat 1% of their body weight per day. Cod are a little bit different. They might eat 150% one day, 50% the next. They're very capable of gorging themselves. Market size, dependent, the average run will take about 18 months. Okay, but just because there is such a grading issue, it'll take almost 2.5 years for the total group to be ready. They're all going to Boston and New York. Live Asian market. In the restaurant, a lodge. They pick them up here. It's all insulated boxes, and that's where we ship everything.
The Cook company is a fully integrated company, and that's been a strategy from day one. So we have our own hatcheries, our own farms, our own plants, our own feed mill. So there are a lot of in-house feed specialists who have a lot of experience with developing feed recipes, that sort of thing. We're very lucky to have those people in-house still within Cook.
Like in 2005, we almost lost the whole industry, you know. Second largest employer, the pulp mill in Woodland's the largest, and then we Cook Aquaculture. And the Cook family come in, they looked it over, and you know, they bought it. You know, they come in with different practices with husbandry and disease control, and you know, we've done well under that family. And these are good jobs. I mean, you know, Cook's pays benefits. They, you know, they pay a good wage, and jobs are scarce here. So and aquaculture is really important to this area.